Hello and welcome to episode 278 of the 77 Club. Some breaking news because Harry's internet is holding up and we can't believe it. It's been years in the making. Harry, tell us actually, I can't believe how many updates you had to do on your PC, which you've never done. Talk us through it.
Hello. I'm checking. No, yeah, I've just updated. I've got a laptop and I've had it since 2018. And today I went through it all and just uninstalled loads of stuff, got rid of all the viruses. Not that I was looking at anything dodgy, but they were clogging up. And yeah, it seems to be working at the moment. Don't want to jinx it though. I've scared Bayliss off though.
Yeah,
more viruses. He got rid of Bayliss. There we go. So,
one virus that way. Give us the socials, Harry.
Yeah, the Wall 77 Club on Facebook, and we're at 77 Club Podcast on X. Instagram's dying a death a bit, lads. Sorry, I don't really look at it too much. And please subscribe to this YouTube channel and Spotify and Apple if you can.
And Jack Williams is here.
Yeah, hello, I'm here. Internet's fine. Crack on.
Crack on. Right, okay. Well, Harry, let's start with the big question. I mean, you put a miracle fight back at Brighton in the title, and that is exactly what it was. Is this a show of strength and camaraderie and backing of Gary O'Neill, the players, or is it papering over the cracks?
That's a really interesting point because I thought after the Brentford game, he had lost the dressing room. But on the Man City game and on this Brighton game, that's probably not true, is it? I'd probably take that back because the fight was unbelievable. But still, papering over the cracks is probably a good way of putting it because first half, we all expected the five at the back again after Man City, although he said he regrets doing it in his post-match presser, but his post-match press conferences are a bit weird lately, so I'll take that with a pinch of salt. And I think if we don't go 1-0 down in the bizarre fashion we did, we probably would. I still think, like, what did I say last week? I felt like we were going to sneak a win, and I think we were on course to do it. Tommy Doyle missed an absolute sitter first 10 minutes. Yeah. And if Jose Sarr didn't decide to kick it to him, we'd go in at 0-0, and I think we'd have eventually got a goal, but it would become a completely different game because of Sarr's mistake. And fair play to O'Neill, because I have criticised him so much this season for not reacting early enough. And he did. He reacted at half-time, made two really good changes, changed the formation and reacted to the situation he was in. And Sarabia was brilliant when he come on. I thought he changed it quite well. And so, yeah, I've criticised Gary O'Neill so much, and I still think he should have been sacked, by the way, after the Brentford game, but credit where credit's due, he changed it. And eventually we got the reward, although it was almost disaster, wasn't it?
Jack, I certainly was praising Jose Sarr last week after some very good saves against Manchester City. One thing that I have always said is his kicking is atrocious, and he proved me right yet again because he is putting his defence under pressure and we're conceding goals because he's being incompetent.
It's kind of like one of those things where you just remember quite quickly why he was dropped. Because after Man City, we were all thinking like, bloody hell, yeah, he's a great shot stopper. You know, why can't he play out that every week? And then you just see it in, you know, it's a really bad time to let in a goal, isn't it? Just right at the end of half time, or, you know, just stroke it then when you've been in the game, you know, it's not been brilliant, but it's not been, you know, terrible by any means. And, you know, you're going against Brighton, who are a decent team, and to go in level and then think, yeah, come out for the second half and have another go. He's just put his whole team under a lot of pressure, hasn't he? Like on the pitch, and then Gary O'Neill with the halftime team talk as well. So, yeah, it's not good, is it? So, but what do you do? I don't really know. Really, I don't think you could have, even if was Johnson fit? I don't even know if he was in the end, but if he could have come in, but you can't drop him after that last performance, in my opinion, against the best team in the league. So yeah, it's just one of those typical Jose Sarr / Wolves moments, which puts us under it. But going back to the original question you asked, is this papering over the cracks? I think it is, because on the whole, I think it was pretty poor, especially when that second goal came in. I know we were decent second half, really, but at that point in the game, when you go 2-0 down, everyone thinks it's over. And, you know, fair play, because I was one of the Wolves fans who thought it was game over.
Please tell the story.
I want to know the story now, because, Jack, you never leave early, or if you do, it's 5-0. So last time at Brighton, I think you left at 5, we lost 6. But I want to hear this story. Go on.
So you two know this, but obviously the listeners don't know this. But if ever you've been for a drink with Bayliss, let's say you go to the bar, pint of Guinness, find a nice little spot in the corner, sit down, one sip, And then Bayes is like, right, come on then, gotta go. He just wants to go to the next place immediately. It's like, I want to get some chips, I want to see the sea, I want to do this, I want to sit down for 5 minutes. And he was getting itchy feet towards the end. And obviously, as soon as that second goal went in, he was like, right, come on. And I just followed him out, partly because I know how bad the train situation is at Brighton. And we left early and it was still bad. It's actually like, it was genuinely dangerous getting on. We got a train quite quickly, but they were just ramming people on and it was so dangerous. So even when we were walking away, we like someone said, okay, we could hear some cheering, like, oh shit, it's 2-1 now. Like, should we go back? Not scoring again, are we? Come on, just watched 85 minutes of that. It was bloody atrocious. So yeah, serves us right, really. But it was quite funny because if you could see it when that second goal went in, we didn't leave immediately. We waited about a minute or so. But it was like the joke of, is there a fire drill? Because that Wall's End was just emptying at full speed. It was quite ridiculous. So then when we get to the train queue and we hear that Kuna scored, it's 80% Wolves fans and just Brighton fans who want to get away quickly. And the train queue goes mental. It's the best atmosphere probably of the game was just in that train queue. And then you start having a little bit of banter with the Brighton fans and they can't quite believe it either because when they left, it was 2-0 and they stood in the train queue. But I don't usually leave early and you can call me I'm one of the plastics who did not have any faith that was going to that we were going to get anything back in that game. I was quite happy to just leave and just sack it off. And Bayliss was just, pestering like, come on. So it's my own fault, really. But, I'd have put bloody house on us not getting it from that game when I walked out at 85, 86 minutes, whatever it was.
And to be fair, Harry, it was only really thanks to Tommy Doyle. 4-on-1 situation, and he picks out the interception and then does what he does best, arguably, which is ping a ball from 40, 50 yards, finds the feet of Cunha, and they back off like the Roger Johnson school of defending. And he goes, actually, do you know what? I may as well have a shot. And luck was on our side for a change.
Yeah, and when Cunha hit it, I was screaming at him to pass. So I couldn't believe he hit it, but it went in. But on Tommy Doyle, I was really happy for him because obviously that miss he did first 10 minutes. And he had a good game. I thought he was good. And I was glad he started. I think he deserved to be a starter on the day. Cunha, for me, was poor throughout the whole game. And so just while I'm on this, it's weird because of the way we came back and a lot of Wolves fans were on a high after the game. Everyone was like, oh my God, it changed so much second half. But I agree with Jack. Like, even though he did change it and Sarabia come on, we were attacking a bit more, but we didn't create any clear-cut chances before they went 2-0 up for me. There was a few little ones off a corner, like I think Strand Larson had a few headers at close range, but nothing where I thought we're going to score here. So when they got the second, it was a big mistake by Forbes. Both of our goals were our mistakes, which we've done so many times this season. And obviously Ferguson puts it away really well. I could not see it coming. And when that corner, like I said to you, I was stood up watching it on a stream. I was getting ready to do my YouTube video that I always do after the game. I was ready for Gary O'Neill out. That was the title of my video. Like, he's got to go. And then Sarabia puts a great corner in. Ain't Nori again. That's 3 goals for him this season. I think he's that joint top goal scorer now, isn't he, with Strand Larson and Cunha? And yeah, Cunha, big deflection. But we deserve the luck. And it could be a huge turning point. But papering over the cracks probably is the right thing to say. Because for me, I just could not see that coming from a mile off. And I think Brighton helped us because that 4-on-1, the pass by their player was criminal, but fair play to Tommy Doyle because he anticipated it, he gambled, got it, and like you say, a fantastic pass. And Tommy Doyle is slowly becoming one of my favourite players. Like, I love him. I think you can tell he fights for the shirt. You can tell he really wants to play, and his quality to go with it. I wanted to see him start more often.
I think that just you have to remember when we're saying papering over the cracks, because I honestly think 99 times out of 100, if from that position that game finishes 3-1. And they've really, really messed up from there because obviously they've got to try and play the pass because they've got three men over. But if they just run to the corner, they'd have won the game or just boot it out of play. And it's just taking that chance and messed it up. It's really, really cost them. And I don't think the majority of time professional footballers would have done that. And we'd have all been sat here now if it finished 3-1, just thinking, what a mess, absolute disgrace, O'Neill out, which I know a lot of us are still saying, to be fair, because like I say, I don't think it was a great performance either. Going forward, there was very little. I thought Strand Larson was poor. I thought really the two big lads at the back, they had Van Heck and the other guy that just sort of nullified him because they were massive as well. He didn't really have much of a aerial presence against him. And also that big lad they had in midfield as well, who they took off after about 10 minutes to go. I thought he was really good, and taking him off was quite surprised actually.
Belieber.
yeah, it's the fact that then they took him off and then we scored 2 in 10 minutes didn't surprise me. So
Sarr pulled off a good save from him, didn't he? The first half when he had that volley, do you remember it? But then obviously Sarr threw it to him after that, so as he always does.
Unbelievable. Harry, the one thing I've got to say, watching this, I watched it with my dad, who's a Liverpool fan, and even he was getting overly frustrated. He's like, I've never seen a team for a very, very long time give the ball away in midfield as much as Wolves are doing. And obviously, Lamina goes off at half time. I don't think João Gomez covered himself in glory particularly, but it's more that the club captain, I think, we've talked about it previously, is that captaincy weighing on him a little bit too heavily. His performance haven't been great, and then getting dragged off at half time, you just think, and it goes back to the papering over the cracks thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think he was injured, to be fair, but still, I think he did deserve to come off. And when Welbeck scored, he had like a tantrum. I don't know if you remember that. Like, you don't want to see your captain doing that, do you? And I think I was glad Tommy Doyle come in, but I wish they need more chance, because Gomez, like you said, Lamina and Andre just hasn't been working, so he needs to try and change that up. And yeah, Sarabia was brilliant when he come on. I'm not a fan of Sarabia. I've criticised him so much, but he did make a difference. He was quite positive when he came on. And one player I do want to mention, I've sang Tommy Doyle's praises. I thought Semedo, particularly first half against Matoma, was outstanding. Like, he had Matoma in his pocket at times. He kept running at him, and I was shitting my pants, but Semedo dealt with him every time. So he was fantastic. But that spell, after Tommy Doyle's miss and up until Sarr give him that goal, like you say, we were trying to hit the ball at Strand Larsen. He weren't holding it up. Our midfield kept giving it away. And it was just constant Brighton pressure, wasn't it? And it was frustrating, that, for me. But it did improve a bit second half. And it's interesting to see. I know we're going to get onto it, but I don't know what Gary O'Neill's going to do, because I think Lamina does deserve dropping, but with him being captain, it's hard to drop him. And Andre didn't do much wrong, so it was just harsh that he was the one to get dropped out the free. And I agree, João Gomez is he always seems to drift out to the right, doesn't he? And it don't seem to suit him for me. He's like basically right midfield at times, and he needs to be in the midfield too, doesn't he? In the middle, being the main man with Doyle or Andre or something. But yeah, a lot to unpick, and he's been playing so many players out of position, in my opinion, O'Neill, this season. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're struggling, especially defensively.
Big shout out for Strand Larsen, I think, Jack, because Gary O'Neill, obviously in his post-match press conference the week before after City game, said he needs to be getting 90 minutes or at least more than 65, 70 minutes out of Strand Larsen. He goes and plays 94 minutes. So he obviously had the kick up the
not very well.
Yeah, not a very good performance.
I like Strand Larsen, but it wasn't his day on Saturday, I don't think, like I say, because I think he was just nullified by lack of service and surrounded by big players. So his attribute of being big didn't really count for anything. Quick question: do we have an official vice captain if Lamina isn't there?
Got to be Dawson,
if he was
I think.
dropped,
Dawson,
you think it'd be Dawson, wouldn't you, as a go-to? But obviously Dawson's been out of it this season.
Did he give the armband to Dawson? I didn't even notice. Anyone in the comments notice that? I can't remember who he gave it to. I'm assuming it was Dawson. Just on the centre backs though, Craig Hughes and I think Steve's put in the comments, Santi Bueno was brilliant as well, and I thought he was good against City.
Good. He was good last week as well. Yeah, I think. Yeah, like last 2 weeks, and there's been question marks about him, but he's one of those where I think maybe I'm forgetting some dodgy performances in there, particularly maybe some cup performances. But I think he's done all right quite a few times in my memory. So the fact he was relegated to basically fourth choice centre back, even when Totti was being very dodgy. I was a bit surprised at, so I thought he might be on his way out, didn't we, in the later stages of the transfer window? But so some good performances you can point to on the pitch. Overall, I think on the whole, not good enough, and we're in this position now where it's shit or bust, isn't it? Really, these next 2 home games, I think it's like 4 points or he's got to go, regardless of coming from 2 goals down against Brighton. So
Deborah the Zebra is obviously chipping in with some great comments. I mean, this one here, WLLLD, LLLLLD, LLLLD, LLD. Is this a town in Wales or Wolves' last 19 games? Incredible question. The trick question is actually both. But Harry, it just says it all. I mean, Jack's saying there, it's shit or bust. And unfortunately for pushing the last 9 months, it's been shit.
It's funny because we didn't win that game Saturday, but we've been that crying out for a win. At times, I thought we had won. Even though we just got like a late miracle equaliser, it felt like a win, didn't it? Like it's all we can grab onto. And to be fair, that away end, like we ain't had much to celebrate, have we? And Jack, I don't want to rub it in because obviously you left early, but it looked unbelievable. And it was half empty, but there was people falling down the stairs, like things like that. And people falling back.
I'd gone to the bar. I'd gone to the bar for their first goal as well, so I only saw one goal on Saturday. It was obviously a Brighton one. So,
let's have a look at the comment section there. Paul says, unfortunately, the results Gary O'Neill's team have produced over almost half a season are abysmal. 123 North Street says we were shocking and we got out of jail. Steve says good performance second half. Who else we got? Craig says Jose Sarr kicks the ball like it's made of cement. I think that's fair. Riley says, knowing how Wolves play against bottom half teams, it's hard to imagine 4 points from the next.
Agree. That's
games.
my worry. That's my worry.
Trevor says the honeymoon period is over for Gary, unfortunately. I think you might be right there, Trevor. Too many wrong decisions. The first substitution he's made that worked was last week. No wins in how many? It's a shame, but time is running out for him. It's the general consensus is that it will come back down to, as we've been saying pretty much since the start of the season, and obviously how the fixtures have fallen, that this November fixture list is make or break. Obviously, we're going to talk about Palace at home at the weekend, which is a late kickoff, and then Southampton at home, Fulham away, and Bournemouth at home. Harry, it seems like a good opportunity to move on to the Palace game. We were thinking actually that the Glasner effect has worn off. Palace couldn't buy a win either, and then they go and beat Spurs.
Yeah, that was a worrying victory. And but just a bit of a live update as we're recording. Craig said Eze and Wharton and Garth Injury in their cup tie, so a bit of a bonus. But yeah, them winning, in a way, they'd have been more desperate for a win against us if they wouldn't have beat Spurs. So in a weird way, it might work in our favour, but I'm not clutching at straws. And for me, I think Jack or someone in the comments has said that we've got to get at least 4 points out of these next two. I think we've got to get at least 6. I'm not having settling for 4. I think we've got to beat Palace because of the run we've had. And he's banged on and on and on about us being underdogs and how hard our fixtures are. Well, now, Gary, we're going to be favourites. So we've got to win this game Saturday and we've got to beat Southampton, because if we don't, it's gone to shit. Because we said when we get to this point, this is when you've got to start winning. For him to survive and not get the sack, he has to win now. And I feel like the pressure's so enormous. I just hope he makes the right decision with his team selection. And I just hope if we go one down early, the players' heads don't go, because it's gone a lot this year. I mean, Chelsea at home comes to mind. It's a huge game and it's a huge run of fixtures. And this November could make or break our season and make or break Gary O'Neill's career as Wolves manager. And like you say, it feels like so long since we've got a win. So we need to shake that monkey off our back. Yeah, we need to get a win, man. We've got.
What was the date of the last win?
Luton.
Yeah, I know it was Luton, but when was it? What was the actual date?
God,
I'll find that now.
I reckon it's got to be March time. Someone might know.
27th of April.
Wow.
27th of April, and it's nearly November. It will be November by the time we play on Saturday.
Here's a good one from Deborah the Zebra. Would our championship winning team murder this current squad?
It's a bit brutal. Would our championship team?
Who'd win out of the promoted team?
I think just because the promoted team can play together a little bit better and they know their system and they know what they're doing. I think individually, if you look around the team, there's probably some players in the team now who are as good, if not better, as that team that came up. But you just knew what you were getting, didn't you, with that team under Nuno? The team pretty much picked itself. You knew what it would be, and play on the break and work really hard.
Off the top of my head, just thinking now, I think only Cunha, Semedo, and maybe Dawson gets into that team, the promoted one. Dawson for Cody, Semedo for Doherty. I think Cunha. Well, actually, Jota, Jimenez. Jesus. Now, if we played 4 at the back, if this current team played 4 at the back against that team, we'd lose about 6-0.
No, it's not far. I mean, I'd say John Ruddy is I think John Ruddy's better than Sarr, to be honest.
When have you Patricio?
Patricio, I suppose.
Not promoted though. Promoted team.
Oh,
Okay,
do you mean? You mean the
season.
Championship team?
Mm.
I was thinking of the first Prem team.
I was thinking first season as well.
Oh yeah, no. So even the promoted team is Neves, Jota, Bolly, Barry Douglas.
Sam, sorry, he was on Under the Cosh this week. That's worth a listen, by the way.
Who was Barry Douglas? How was he?
Do you know the one that Steve Ball was on? They had Barry Douglas on, and he spoke about Wolves for a bit and about Nuno and that. So I just thought I'd give that a shout. That was quite an interesting listen.
I've had quite a few Wolves.
Brutal the way they got rid of him. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was like unbelievable that season, and we got Johnny in, didn't we? But he was brilliant. I can't believe he didn't get a chance in the Prem, but.
Well, Wolves fans were upset for about 10 minutes. Then watched Johnny play a couple of times. I couldn't give a shit. To be honest,
that was very true.
But
right, let's have a look at. Yeah, go on. Sorry, Jay.
I know. I was just going to say, like Palace, and I think 4 points will mean that O'Neill keeps his job. I think if we lose on Saturday, he should go. Really, I think he has to go. I think this is probably the biggest game of his Wolves career coming up, and I know we asked the question a lot, like. Is it a must win? And I still think it's too early in the season for a must win. But if ever he loses on Saturday, it's a must not lose for O'Neill, because I think he has to go and Fosun have to act on something. My worry is stubborn manager, stubborn owner. Will they see him through to the end of November and then be surprised when, hang on, the team that hasn't won since April has just not won again in this month, where we put all our eggs in one basket and then act surprised, and then we'll be bottom and really up against it and trying to, have Sam Allardyce on speed dial. But so Palace battered us last season as well. That's the thing that's the worry. Did. So I know they've not had a great start to this season, but it's not like you've just got to go and, play a newly promoted team or anything. They're an established Premier League team with some really good players. But I know, like, if ever we lose on Saturday, it was the atmosphere was horrendous after Brighton scored their second for those couple of minutes. Particularly walking around the concourse and on the way out, like everyone was spitting feathers, and it was like, I don't think anyone was saying Gary O'Neill in. So if ever we go 1-0 down, on Saturday and then end up losing the game, it's he should probably just bite the bullet and resign, to be honest. But
well, he's not going to do that, is he? He's signing the deal that he signed. I mean, the one thing that you would say, Harry, that looking at the managers available, and obviously we found it quite strange that Ten Hag was the first manager to go in the Premier League this season, and the bookies weren't far off. I think we've been talking about what are the odds of manager sackings all season so far. Obviously, 9 games in, he gets the bullet, and was favourite to do so. Which means Man United are after a manager. I mean, as we're speaking, Man United are beating Leicester in the Carabao Cup under Ruud van Nistelrooy. It looks like Amorim at Sporting is maybe going to go in there, which leaves potentials in your Graham Potters, who, if they're getting overlooked for United in the position that they're in and the poison chalice that it is, I wouldn't say he's rejected it. He's just not being looked at. So it could well be an option, do you think?
Ten Hag for Wolves?
No.
Potter, you're saying? I don't think that's going to happen either. Might get Southgate if we're lucky.
Yeah, I don't know. I made me laugh when everyone was saying Southgate for United, but I don't know. Like, I mean, let's just see how we get on these next few games. But like you say, if we lose Saturday, it's got to be. Would they again? Would they? If we lost Saturday, would they sack him? I don't think they would. Maybe if we lost Southampton as well. But we haven't spoke too much about Palace. I've got the bets up because I know Bayliss in here.
Well, I was going to say, would you make any changes for that Palace? I mean, I'll just go through the team that started against Brighton just to refresh our memory. Sarr in goal, Santi Bueno, Dawson, Totti Gomez, you got Ryan Aït-Nouri, Lamina, Doyle, Semedo, João Gomez, Cunha, and Strand Larsen.
So I'm going to be a hypocrite. I'm going to contradict myself because I know for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks I've banged on about the back five. We've got to switch to it. He's got to switch to it in game when we're struggling defensively. But against Crystal Palace and Southampton, I don't mind him playing the back four. I think he will go with. Yeah, I think drop Totti Gomez, have Santi Bueno and Dawson as centre halves, Aït-Nouri left back, Semedo right back. And I think he might even start Sarabia the way he played second half against Brighton. 4-2-3-1 or like a 4-2-2-2-2, whatever you want to call it. And I think that might be his approach, because he said in his post-match presser that he regrets playing the back five at Brighton. But I think when we play teams like Brighton away and Man City at home, Chelsea away, Chelsea at home, that's when we play the back five. That's when we should have this season. That was what I really got annoyed about. But then when we're playing teams we're favourite against, I don't mind him switching it up and trying to be a bit more, forward thinking and things like that. But one thing I have noticed as well, even though he did go to the 4, he has got it out of Sarr's head to just boot it away. I know he made a mistake when he kicks out of his hands, but he wasn't trying to piss about again, which I like to see. I'm glad he's gone away from the passing it around the back as much.
Just hit it straight to their player.
Yeah, but like that was solely Sarr's mistake, wasn't it? That wasn't an instruction from O'Neill to like pass it to Bueno, and then he fucked up. So I think it's going to be hard to judge, because it is some big decisions to be made for O'Neill. But yeah, I think we might see a Forbes or a Sarabia start, and we might see a 4 at the back again against Palace, and he might just go for it.
I'd like to see Forbes start, Jack. I'm a real fan of his. Real good pace. Completely different player, obviously, to Sarabia. He's only been playing sort of 45 minutes at a time. Maybe it's time to start him, because he's usually been lumped on at halftime in the games that he has played.
I was thinking about this a bit actually, and also watching him at the weekend. He's got pace, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. But I'm just worried that and maybe I'm being harsh, maybe other people don't agree. No, it's just, a pacey player, but I think his decision making is a little bit poor sometimes. I think there's been opportunities where he should have passed it where he's been a bit greedy, and other times where he's tried to pass it when he should have been greedy. It's screaming a little bit Adama Traore in the back of my mind. But he has the ability to change a game, doesn't he? So I wouldn't be against seeing him. I'm a little bit more worried about going to a back 4, to be honest. There we go. See, someone agrees with me.
Steve says, I think Forbes is a poor man's.
Just getting up Craig's comment, Jack. If Johnson's fit, because he hasn't been in the squad as the last 2 games, do you reckon he's going straight back in for Sarr Johnston? No.
I don't, not necessarily. I know Sarr made that mistake, but I don't think it's as straightforward as that, particularly if he's still carrying a knock. I'd stick with the back 5 though, going back to the formation question, because I think it's looked a lot more solid these past 2 weeks, even though again we have let in 4 goals. But I just get nightmares against. I just get nightmares and just flash back to Brentford, and I'm thinking like, well, Palace and Brentford. I know, there's probably not that much between them, particularly in the league sort of last season. And if ever he goes a back 4, and then suddenly we're just getting ripped apart.
Yeah,
we're getting ripped apart, and we're 3 goals down after 20 minutes, and everyone's like, "What the hell's going on?" Like, I think just try and bank it a little bit and play a little slow and cautious approach, and try and turn it on the last 10 minutes like we did against Brighton if we have to. But don't put yourself out of the game after 40 minutes. I know it's a home crowd and there's going to be expectations, but don't just throw the kitchen sink at it and then no one knows where they're playing. Ait-Nour is playing up front, and then there's no bloody fullback in place, and the midfielders are running around. God knows where they're playing as well, like we've seen in the past few weeks. So I'd stick with the back 5. I'd probably stick with the same team, to be honest with you, and just then change it as the game goes on, rather than just throw in all your toys out the pram straight away and having to react. Just build from the foundation, read the game a little bit, and make changes depending on what's happening. It's kind of what a football coach probably should do a little bit more. But rather than just fuck it, we've got to win. Everyone go organs blazing, and then we're 4-0 down at half time and wonder why.
He did react though against Brighton. You've got to give him a bit of credit.
That's what I mean. So then why do the same thing again? Play a cautious approach, keep the game close, and all that matters on Saturday is 3 points.
But I think you can't ignore his post-match comments. So Jack and I've said it a few times. He just kept saying he regretted playing the 5. So that's what makes me think he's going to go back to a back 4.
But the way that first half was shaping up, if we'd have played a 4, Brighton would have been out of sight by the time Jose Sarr played that kick. So what would happen then? You said I agree. Semedo was good as well, but then if you're taking the player out the fold and there's an overlap on him, what would he been able to do? So let's see. All right, it's his last chance in it, so let him do what he wants. But if he loses, then he needs to be gone by 8 o'clock Saturday night.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I mean, we're saying, Harry, you're saying that Gary O'Neill's taking risks and making decent substitutions, but all that's going around in my head is that 4-on-1 with Tommy Dore just nicking it in time. And actually, Jack made the point that 9 times out of 10 or 99 times out of 100, it's 3-1, isn't it? And our outlook on this game is completely different. Go on, I'll let you come back on that.
Yeah, all I'm going to say is obviously that situation also happened because we were throwing everyone forward, but it was just a bit of a mistake, wasn't it? I think he gave it to Aitnor, he lost it, didn't he? I think, but
No,
he was trying to get the pitch quick, and Doyle just happened to be the only one back because it weren't long after we'd had a set piece, I don't think. But yeah, like you say, sliding doors moment. Like a lot of people saying after the game, that could be the turning point, the Lopetegui win away at Everton. That big switch you need. I hope that's the case. I really do. As much as I think he should have gone, I want it to turn around. I want it to be successful. I want to go on a run now and start going up the league. And I think we've got to win. And then out the next 8 games, we've got to win 5 of them. We've got to, I think.
You could have stopped that sentence there where you pause. It's like, I think we've got to win. Like, I think we probably are due a win. Yeah, that'd be helpful.
But like everyone says, and like we've been saying for weeks, we're starting to get comfortable with losing. We've got to shake that mentality somehow.
I think, and the 4 after the next 4, Everton away, West Ham away, Ipswich at home, Leicester away. They're winnable games, but the majority of them are away. And that's got to win your home games, as my old man says. Jack, give us a score prediction.
I don't know. I've been quite negative. Well, rightly so. I mean, with my score predictions as well. Like Harry said, we were going to beat Brighton 4-1, and I said we'd lose. And
no, I just said we'd win 2-0. I said Brighton there for the taking, which they showed vulnerabilities.
Not Brighton. Sorry, Brentford. Was it Brentford?
Brentford,
that you said it was 4-1. Yeah, sorry, get mixed up. Doesn't matter. But I mean, he's got to win. He's got to win. Everything on it. We need 3 points, so I'm going to go 1-1.
1-1. Harry.
It's finally coming in. We've scored every game this season apart from against Arsenal in the Premier League.
It's true.
We keep putting the ball in the net. We're going to concede as we always do. So it's coming in. Wolves 4, Crystal Palace 1. Cunha hat-trick. Come on, the boys. It's coming in. And talking about bets, you want me to read out a few?
Well, I can't argue that's segue.
I'm not sure what's crazy about that. The fact you think we're going to score 4 or only letting 1.
But
right, so
questionable.
For us to win, these always confuse me. So Jack, help me out here. 6-4 is Wolves and 17-10 Palace. So that's close. We're favourites, aren't we?
Yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah. So
we're close favourites. 23-10 for the draw. I'll get a cheeky goal scorer because I keep backing Semedo first goal scorer, and he had a shot first half against Brighton. So he's only 28-1. He's usually 80-1. So the odds won't be as high as you expect for stupid bets like that. Correct score. So Jack went for the 1-1. That's 11-2. So about 5.5-1, whatever it is. So it's expected. If you want to go crazy and back my mad bet, now this bet 4-1 Wolves usually is around the 50-1 mark upwards. It's only 40-1 for Wolves to win 4-1 on Saturday. So the bookers agree with me, it's going to happen. Jack, Sam, usually you say 2-1. You get 2-1, you get 8-1. Another little cheeky one I'm going to throw in there. I fancy Craig Dawson to score a header the weekend. Just feel it in my waters. 16-1 for Craig Dawson to score an header. He'll score that last minute to get the 4th and put us 4-1 up. So back that if you want it.
Cunha hat trick and Dawson.
Oh, Cunha hat trick. Should I see if that's a bet?
Yeah, look at that.
Here we go.
But basically, what those odds tell us there is the bookies have not got a clue how to price that up because it could go either way.
Sky Bet never get it wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I mean. But they just think because everything's so tight, it's just that game could go either way. No one would be surprised if they saw that result and it'd be 3-0 Wolves or 3-0 Palace. Like at the end of the day. So
Michael says 0-0. 1-2-3 North Street says 2-1 Palace. Steve says 3-2 to Wolves. IH says Hart says 3-1, but head purely because of Anil's poor management. I'm saying 2-1 to Palace. Deborah the Zebra says it'll be a draw at half time, then we'll lose 3-0. So
I can't find that at the moment for Cunha hat-trick, but I'm assuming it'd be around the 30-1 mark.
Should be more than
but
that.
I'm not a bookie, so just take that. Just throwing numbers out there now. Yeah.
Excellent. Right. Okay. Well, I don't think there's anything else to cover off.
To talk about?
I don't think there's nothing's really happened. There's been no stories that have caught my eye specifically.
We mentioned Manny during the Pride of Britain, didn't we? I saw that.
Yeah, did that
last
one.
week.
That was he had Cody on, and Cody scored tonight for Leicester. Time recording.
Yeah.
Would you have him back, everyone? Now?
Yep.
Maybe that's what we talk about.
Are we going to play?
It's Samosa Saturday, isn't it? Saturday.
Oh, is it?
While
Excellent.
we're on the subject, so if you walk past, it's by the university usually, isn't it? So
all right, so that'll be the Emerald Club, and then wobble past Manny,
Saturday,
grab a samosa,
and there's not much else to report. It's quite quiet, isn't it? Like Jeff and that are being quiet. It's just all going to explode after the weekend. But
he hasn't done one of his mental columns recently, has he? Well, what's happened in the Express and Star, the one where.
So are we still with Southampton? Is it just us and Ipswich now who haven't won? Because obviously Palace won. So there's only 3 teams now that haven't won.
There was 4 before the weekend, wasn't there?
Yeah, Palace beat Spurs now. Yeah. But so, I still think. I don't know. Actually, we could still go down. But I digress.
I mean, there's a high chance we're going to go down looking at this table position. I know we've had difficult fixtures, but we've got it all to do again. And as people have said in the comments that we've said here, just because we're playing teams below us, the Wolves' way is usually the opposite of this. We get points where you don't expect them, and against the lower ranked teams, we just don't turn up. So, it looks pretty bleak, to be honest. And even with the tough fixtures at the start, I know people were joking and saying, "Oh, we're not going to win until November." But I still thought we'd nick 1 or 2 wins because that's usually what we do. And we pick up points where you don't expect them. And we've been in games where we should have done that, really, because we've been in games against Villa, against Newcastle, against Man City, whoever. Like, there's been spells in that games where we've been really good, but we've just not been getting anything for it, and it's our own fault. Just looking at the table again, I still think we need 4 points from these 2 home games.
Easily.
I've got one last question. It's just coming to my head. So, obviously, Sam, as we were talking about before we come on, before Jack got here, I'm currently not drinking at the moment. When was the last time you two... And Jack, do you prefer going to football games sober or under the influence? Before we get on to what I'm going to ask.
I mean, it's one of those. I mean, I don't go to that many and not have a drink at all these days.
Exactly.
But back in the day, I still used to enjoy it. It didn't used to bother me as much. Yeah. But I think since I've been of drinking age, there's probably been a couple of times where I've been driving. But even when you're driving, you have like 1 or 2, don't you?
Well, don't tell that on there.
Well, throughout the course of the day,
within the live and drive,
there's not been many completely stone cold, nothing at all days. Probably since I turned about 18 or whatever, but I still enjoy football on the odd occasion. I have gone completely sober if it's a Sunday morning stuff, so it still has that sort of special thing. But it's it's part of the day and the atmosphere, I think, to particularly on a Saturday to have a few drinks. But anyway, what was the point you're trying to make here?
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing it now because I'm not drinking at the moment, and I can't remember the last time I went to a Wolves game and didn't drink because I didn't go to City, so it's going to be really hard. And at the Southampton game, I go to the darts after. So not go to drink and go and watch the darts is just a bit...
Are you going to wear
someone's going to lit...
Sexy.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Someone's going to listen to this pod and think, "Oh, but Harry's done well," and then see him low in the street. Absolutely.
Yeah, pan to me on Sky. I'm like, with 2 beers in my hand, like shaking beers. No, it's just an interesting one because... Obviously, we have been to football sober, but I think it's way better being pissed at the football. That's just me. But at least you remember the game, I guess. But Sam, you've been a few times sober. You have been hanging out your ass, haven't you?
Mm. Yeah, I mean,
that doesn't count, though.
It's finding the balance, isn't it, with most things in life? If you go and have a couple of drinks, I quite enjoy getting the train, to be fair. Obviously, if I can get a lift, then I'll obviously take it and stuff. But yeah, I think it's part of the day. It's part of the great British culture to go and have slightly too many beers.
Not to get too deep into it, but the last game we went to together, Liverpool, that's mainly why I stopped drinking because I felt so bad the next day. We drank all day. I was being sick the next morning. Nothing was coming out. Just like, you're being sick and nothing comes out. I just thought, I'm not doing this anymore. There's a lot of other factors, but that was the final straw.
Yeah, no, it wasn't your finest moment. I'll be perfectly honest with you.
Let's not go into things. Let's not get into everything.
Not
someone in the comments
said,
we missed that stuff. Oh, the long story. Michael Burr in the comments, when's Harry's quizzes coming back? I forgot we even did those.
Oh, I did. Where's that gone?
So I might next week, Michael. You've just reminded me. I might do a quiz.
This is what I've got.
We're not doing that now.
There we go. We won't do it now, but maybe we'll bring it back
next week.
Yeah, so we did used to do that. Quick quiz question, Jack. What was the score in both games last season against Crystal Palace?
I can't remember. Christ, last season. I don't know.
3-1.
3-4-1.
3-1 at home and away.
3-2 away. 3-2.
3-2 loss away. We lost both games to Palace last year. There we go. Well done. Sam wins the quiz this week.
Excellent. There you go, Michael. Hope that's helped. Right, Kate. Well, we'll say goodbye to Harry Mansell.
Goodbye, everyone. I am now a nun. See ya.
Okay. And goodbye from Jack Williams.
I can't follow that. Bye.
No, that was a goodbye from me. Goodbye.